science.
University of Los Angeles. And what I meant that I'm the most real is that all of my work has been with folks face to face. And yet I've been very, very interested in how it is that we can improve online and mediated teaching so that it starts to fulfill the promise that is clearly there. I direct research training programs funded by the NIH and the NSF, and they've been pretty successful. In the last 15 years, 158 have completed the PhD, and 148 are in PhD programs right now.
I'm Carl Wyman. I'm actually a professor in
physics and in education, and have a chair in engineering, all at Stanford. And I work on, well, a variety of things in teaching, particularly in the sciences, doing research on teaching and learning, better ways to teach, and also on institutional change and development. And I also started online interactive simulations for teaching science, which is now reached rather large scale, about 100 million uses a year.
Great, and we're gonna pass the iPad like it was a conch or conch shell. Right to speak. Or can we wait for 1 second for you?
Did I hear that right? You said rather large scale, 100 million? Just wanted to be sure that.
And demonstrate.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm Stephen Koslin. I'm a president and CEO of a startup college here in San Francisco called Foundry College, which is about giving working adults the knowledge and skills that'll help them resist automation. So they'll have jobs that'll allow them to actually develop careers. And we do that through a mix of novel technology, new teaching methods, and a novel curriculum. Prior to that, I was at Minerva. I was chief academic officer there, which is another startup university based here in San Francisco, which is in some ways exactly the opposite of Foundry. It takes less than 2% of the applications, over 20,000 applications. It's very international, whereas we're not focused in the United States. And it's not built to scale in a way that we're built to get large and stay very inexpensive and very accessible. Prior to that, I was also at Stanford, running the Center for Advanced Study in Behavioral Sciences. Most of my career was at Harvard University. I was there 3 decades. I was on the faculty. I was chair of the department. I was dean of social sciences. I also was co-director of the Mind and Market Lab at Harvard Business School, and also was in the Department of Neurology at Mass General Hospital. So a lot of what I bring is science of learning. So I've written books on how people learn. I'm particularly interested in visual things. So how you represent information in a way that makes it easy for people to understand what's being conveyed.
Okay. Hi, I'm Jessica Kwong. I'm professor of mathematics in Oxnard College. I'm the OER liaison and the past distant learning chair. And for the past few years, I've been working on a OER online homework system.
So welcome everybody. I'm John Matsui from UC Berkeley in the Department of Integrated Biology. And unlike Stephen, I've kind of stayed put over my academic career. I established a program for undergraduates, a diversity program at Berkeley, and it's called the Biology Scholars Program. And it's a 26-year-old program that's had about 3,500 Berkeley undergraduates matriculate through the program. 80% of the students have been first to college, low income, 70% have been women, and 60% have been underrepresented ethnic minorities. And they've all succeeded in biology majors and gone on to do amazing things. Most recently, 4 of my students earned faculty positions in the San Francisco Bay Area, 2 at UC Davis Medical School, 1 at UCSF Medical School, and 1 at Stanford in biochemistry. And these are students who weren't expected to make it at Berkeley in any discipline, let alone in the sciences. And so what I bring to this committee is sort of a depth of understanding of many of the challenges facing low-income first-to-college students in the STEM fields. Thank you, and thank you for being here.
Great, thank you so much to the selection committee members for introducing themselves. I also want to have Roar Saxberg from the Chan Zuckerberg Initiative introduce himself for a few minutes. He's not part of the selection committee, but he is serving as our technology advisor for today's meeting. And so, Roar, could you just say a little bit about your work?
Sure. I'm Boris Saxberg. I head up what is called the Learning Sciences part of the Chan Zuckerberg Initiative's education work. And what I really focus on is how do you make use of evidence about how learning works to make practical decisions at scale in the real world about learning improvements in a multidimensional way, not just academic improvements, but also identity changes and social and emotional changes and cognitive changes and so forth. So I'm here to help as a technical advisor on some issues that may come up around how technology can best be used and combined with learning science at scale.
Or you might say a little about the previous CCI. For people who aren't familiar.
Okay, yes.
Understand where you're
Okay, so I began as a researcher. I'm an MD PhD from Harvard Medical School and MIT doing artificial intelligence vision system research. Ended up after several years at McKinsey in the middle of doing this overlap of learning science and technology at a series of companies. Before I joined CZI a year and a half ago, I spent 8 years as the chief learning officer for Kaplan, which is a very large education company with, I don't know, 1+ million students around the world in 20 different learning environments. And the CEO hired me to basically convert Kaplan into a kind of a learning engineering organization where all those different kinds of learning environments were using evidence, learning science, and more or less technology to make progress. Is that fair enough, Carl? Is that all right?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Great, thank you. So after I briefly cover the overview of the day, we'll turn to public comment, and Tristan will take this iPad to go to the other side of the room so people on Zoom can hear you. And apologies to everyone who's joined us by Zoom for our technical difficulties earlier, but we mostly just covered the things that were already available on our website. So please note that public comment is intended for receiving general comments about the RFP, content or process. It isn't intended for elaborating on a particular proposal, but that being said, members of the public are free to make any comment they choose during the time constraints that we have. So after public comment, we're going to adjourn open session and then convene closed session, which is only open to the selection committee members, staff, and our technical advisor. After our deliberations are complete, we will reconvene an open session and announce how many projects are being recommended to move forward to the next stage. But that being said, the Office of Planning and Research will review the recommendations briefly, and then we anticipate announcing which projects are moving forward by close of business tomorrow. And we will post the names of the projects on our website, as well as making individual notifications. We will also be providing all applicants with summary feedback on their applications from the evaluators by the end of the week. So statute requires the convening of an expert selection committee, which the members have introduced themselves, to score proposals and recommend the proposals to OPR. And in order to aid the selection committee, we did have the external readers review each of the proposals and evaluate the proposals. Each proposal was assigned to a team of reviewers that had a combination of disciplinary expertise, general STEM expertise, and learning science or educational expertise. The role of the selection committee is to provide full, fair, impartial, and independent consideration to the proposals they have been asked to review, as stated in the conflict of interest acknowledgement and statement of impartial evaluation that each member signed. Selection committee members that have an identified conflict will recuse themselves from the deliberation of that specific proposal. The conflict statement was fairly specific. You have a conflict if you helped prepare an application, regardless of financial interest in the success or failure of that application, or that you work for an applicant or are affiliated with an applicant who is applying for funds. Or if you have agreed to serve or have been offered a position as an employee, advisor, or consultant on a project applying for funds, or your personal financial interest will be affected by the outcome of the competition. We also put any other circumstance that calls into question your ability to serve as an objective reviewer. So even if a member does not have an actual conflict, members may recuse themselves if they feel that there's a sufficient appearance of conflict. So in addition to the conflict provisions, we've asked the selection committee members and readers to treat this review as a confidential process until awards are made. So please also note that additional selection committee members may be added for the next round of evaluation, and other readers or advisors may also be requested to participate. So when this selection committee process is concluded and final awards are announced by OPR, we will thank the selection committee members for their service. And then future RFPs may have a different composition for the selection committee depending on the nature of the RFP. And in addition to the confidentiality and conflict provisions, the selection committee members for the duration of this RFP process must observe the requirements of the Bagley-Keene Open Meeting Act, the summary which has been provided to the members. So again, my participation will be limited to serving as the moderator for the meeting, keeping time, addressing logistical questions, and making sure all committee members have a chance to speak. And Beth and Tristan will be here to answer any questions about the process, take notes on the meeting, and provide any support needed by the members during this process. So any questions or comments before we move to public comment? Okay, we will go to public comment, assuming that the members of the public here have a comment. Please be brief in your remarks so that we can also invite participants via Zoom. I think there are more than 30 at this point, to see if they have any questions or comments. Oh, and please identify yourself by your name and your institutional affiliation.
Hi, I'm Alan Fuchs, and I'm the director of the Energy Center at Cal State Bakersfield, and I'm new to California. I've only been here for a year and a half, but I come from Reno, Nevada, a neighbor state, for 19 years. And I'm representing 3 institutions today: Cal State Bakersfield, UC Merced, and Bakersfield College, which is a community college in Bakersfield. And so I wanted to mention a couple of topics. Actually, I brought your cover page here because issues of equity, accessibility, and outcomes, I think, are all critical issues that I want to commend your group for taking on. I think issues of equity are obvious in the Central Valley and the San Joaquin Valley. I think issues of accessibility are ones that we are able to address, and I recognize the importance of bringing in access to diverse groups that have not had this kind of opportunity, and also outcomes. As a chemical engineer, and I was chair of the department in Reno, where I led our ABET assessment, and those kind of very formal engineering approaches to assessment are areas that I'm looking forward to working on. Also, I should mention on the educational side, the chemical engineering group that I work with has been focusing on issues of virtual reality, AI, personal learning, and gamification. Am I allowed to ask a question to this group? I'll ask it and you can decide whether they'll answer. I'm thinking about focusing the next level of the proposal, if we get to that point, on an energy flavor. And some people have suggested to me, with the focus being on science learning, that we should just focus on that. But my question is, would a group like this have an interest in a more specialized flavor, for example, with an energy component to it? Thank you.
Thank you. Any other members?
Sure. Good morning. I'm Wiley Brown. I'm the grants coordinator and with Los Angeles Pierce College. And I'm also an adjunct faculty member with the Los Angeles Community College District. So I'm just here to share some of the unique and I feel compelling elements of our project. Specifically, LA Pierce College is part of the Los Angeles Community College District, which is the largest community college district in the country. And I mention that because our project aims to leverage our relationship with all 9 colleges in the district, whereby we will share our process, our outcomes, and our lessons learned with all 9 colleges. Specifically, I think one of the things that excites me about the project is that we are looking at gaming technology and how it can positively impact student learning. Specifically, we want to look at how gaming activity positively correlates with an increase in students' performance in various STEM courses. And I think this is an issue that merits, is perfect for a demonstration project as well. One of the things I think is also exciting about our project is our partnership with both UC and Cal State. We have a partnership with UC Riverside and Cal State University Channel Islands. And with the UC Riverside partnership, that's exciting because they've done really an amazing job with student success, particularly first generation minority student success. And we look forward to learning from them and building from what they've done and incorporating that in our project as well. Another thing is our project design is adaptive so that we're able to address challenges and obstacles as they arise through the structure of our advisory committee, the way we've incorporated academic leadership and campus resources. The next element I think is important is our campus culture. We intend to create a student learning community modeled after our Umoja program currently on campus. And the Umoja program is a community and critical resource dedicated to enhancing the cultural and educational experiences of African American and other students on campus. So we're going to build upon that model. And finally, we're going to build upon our current federal funding. We recently received a federal grant from NASA where we have a partnership with JPL, and students are actually going to be able to simulate a space mission. And they also will be able to go to JPL, meet scientists and engineers, and have a level of exposure that they may not normally get. We also have other federal funding from the Department of Education. We have a special program, Abriendo Caminos, which is a STEM program designed to encourage STEM success. And then we also have Perkins funding for career and technical education. I want to thank you, and I look forward to our submitting our full proposal.
Thank you, Mr. Brown. Anybody else who's here who would like to make a comment, a brief comment, please?
Good morning. My name's Paul Dobbenmeyer. I'm with the College of Marin. I'm also working with UC Berkeley and Sonoma State University. Just a quick little story. I'm the product of an immigrant who made it into the educational system in the US and a hippie who took 7 years to get through his wandering ways and earn his first bachelor's degree, and now has 5 post-secondary degrees and has learned 3 languages. So I understand how education can change and level the playing field. And I'd just like to tell a little story about 3 girls who came into my chem lab class, and within the first week, Mari and Nitsi had dropped, and Carolina came and asked, "Do I also have to drop?" And I said, "No, just because they left, we need to find you a way to make it." And that to me was just the challenge that's facing me as a chemistry educator. How do we find a way for a population that doesn't feel like they belong in the college or the university realm to really be at home and to thrive? And I was encouraged by Ms. Park's presentation in December to a group of UC faculty members. She said, to get these ideas going, we're going to put a little money in the pot. And I'm not here to look at the money, but I'm here to, my realization after that talk was we have the potential in this group of folks here to change the trajectory of science and math education in the whole state. And I feel like 10 years of development can happen after this meeting today. And I'm just encouraged, whatever the outcome, that the state has allocated this money. Of course, we'd love to be a part of it. We feel we have a network of about 6 or 8 community colleges that we are in close collaboration with that could very easily be brought in. This idea of scale to me is very important. I feel like working at the community college level gives us an opportunity to try out things that work at a small scale, which can then be scaled up in modules that can then be delivered to other community colleges. I was looking at this Cal States, we have 10 or 12. And I was identifying allies. Where are we going next with this? Because ultimately, we're not just trying to make our campus better. We're trying to find something that can raise the level of science and math education in the whole state. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Dovenmeyer. Would anybody else like to make a comment? Are you sure?
I wasn't sure. Hi, my name is Fadi Gassano from Cal State East Bay. I'm in the engineering department and the construction management program. And more than telling you what our project is about, I wanted to kind of share kind of some of the difficulties that we as CSUs faced, at least in my university. And that was the timing of the proposal. Definitely getting everybody to sign. Some of the letters you will see don't even have the vice president's signature because he wasn't around. And having the deadline to be right after Martin Luther King Day was kind of challenging because not everybody was around. So I think that's something that you can definitely keep in mind for future is expanding, maybe not being right after the break or a little bit before, so we can definitely make sure that everybody can get. And also another thing, some of the programs that we are collaborating with, which is Diablo Valley College and Mission College in Santa Clara, they're not very research focused, and so even having somebody to sign for them was a challenge, and they weren't sure who to sign. But I think that's something that you can definitely keep in mind in the future to make sure that we can, even if we don't get selected for the next phase, but next year we would definitely like to try to be able. We'll definitely be more proactive, but keeping that in mind that some of the universities are not around or some of the people are around. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. My name's Maura Devlin Clancy, and I'm with San Francisco City College. I'm a faculty in the Computer Networking and Information Technology Department, and for a long time taught courses that were entirely online. About 3 years ago, the California Community College Chancellor's Office released an Innovation Maker grant that was intended to create a network of maker spaces across the community college system in California. So our college was a recipient of that. And through that work, I have, someone who taught online classes for a long time, really began to appreciate what this kind of physical hands-on experience could do for someone succeeding in an online class. So I just wanted to say that, like the others, we did this in a very short time frame, but I think what I really appreciate about this opportunity is, and I was just looking on my phone to see where I could find the exact citation, was that it was up to the applicants to define what a learning environment is and what a technology mediated learning environment is. And I think that this makerspace network that is currently thriving and growing and still building around the California Community College system is a really big opportunity here. And I hope that you'll consider and remember, this idea of what learning environments are and how we have an opportunity to explore that to really serve students who could see themselves and make themselves into STEM professionals and achieve their dreams through these innovative spaces. Thank you.
Well, we certainly appreciate your attendance here in person, and we appreciate how many people have joined us through chat, which now totals a little over 30 participants. Just to give you the statistics, we had 9 undergraduate campuses of the UC, 21 campuses of the CSU, and 42 community colleges be part of the applicant pool of the 42 proposals that we received. And we were actually incredibly impressed at the numbers that we got. This, I think, really speaks to faculty excitement about student success that, again, heartens us. And rest assured, this is not the only RFP. This is the first of many RFPs, we hope. And future RFPs will have professional development components, as well as trying to create a library of best of practices and curriculum and pedagogies that we hope that this community of faculty can really contribute to and draw from. So with that, we will adjourn public session and we will reconvene open session about 3:25 today. That's the estimated time, which we can report out some high-level results of the discussion. So in closing, I want to thank you again, and please take some food on your way out for anybody who's come here so we don't have to take it all back to Sacramento. Anyway, thank you. Thank you again for your time and for coming. Okay, we'll take a brief